Hello televiewers, good evening and welcome to Prime R. This evening we are sorry for the late start, as tradition demands. Every Tuesday we are going to be talking about relationship and marriage, and this evening we are continuing with what we started discussing last week, which had to do with asking why men die earlier in relationship or marriages before their female counterparts. This day we are going to be looking at the possible ways for men to live longer. What are those activities that they should be carrying on as couples so that they can live longer than the case is today? Because statistics are showing, Apostle Lambe, that compared with 40 years ago, single men were dying faster than their married counterparts, but today the gap is lowering, actually closing up, and we are asking the question, why is it that many more singles are even living healthier and longer lives than those of us who are in this web already? If time permits, we also are going to be answering the question as to whether the woman and the man have equal rights in a marriage relationship. We are discussing this with our panelists who are seated already in the house. Apostle Lambe Valentine Ngwa is our consultant. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Lee. Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, Cameroonians and viewers of Prime Hour. It's another Tuesday again. Get your pen and your paper because you're in a classroom.
You look traditional today.
Yes, that is me, the African man. Very, very proud to be an African. Very, very proud one. And I mean an arrogant one, an arrogant African.
I thought you were given a title this weekend somewhere.
No.
Like Fatayong received a title in the village.
Yes, Fatayong has become the Anglophone of Bunokulan, which means the phone's mouthpiece.
Okay, we also in the company of Apostle is seeing Alfred. He's a regular man of God on this platform, an expert on issues of relationship and marriage. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's another wonderful day again, and good evening, my fellow panelists, especially Apostle Lambe that is seated there, a very heavy consultant. Every time I have the opportunity to talk with him, I am happy to learn a lot of things.
Madame Footinglet is also in the house with us. She is a marriage counselor and also consulting on issues of relationship. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Leo. Good evening. Good evening to the apostles. It's another moment for us to share and to get ourselves and others out there educated. Good evening, Cameroonians and all televiewers.
Okay.
Please follow us.
You counsel on relationship, yes, not necessarily on marriage?
Relationship.
That is, guys, get straight into our discussions for what should be done by married men to live longer and happily. Are there good reasons for us, the men, to be really concerned about our lifespan?
Yeah.
Yes, as married men, and yes, as married men.
Yes, Mr. Leo, I will begin by giving this testimony today about a certain lady who wrote to me, a man who wrote to me and said they are about to get married with his fiancé, and they have a piece of land they want to buy, and the lady is insisting that they should put both of them their names on the document, because tomorrow if the man dies, that's what the girl said, if the man dies, the family may come to seize the land. And I asked the man that who told the woman that you are the one that must die. There is this notion that the man has to die first. If you ask any woman, she will tell you the man has to die first. And I asked the girl, why do you think that it is your husband that will die first and the family will come to seize the land from you? I said, what gives you ownership over your husband's property is not your name being in any property document. It's that you people signed a joint property in monogamy. That is what gives you legal right to everything the man owns tomorrow. So if I thought the man is signing a monogamous marriage with joint property, then it's very obvious that everything the man owns tomorrow belongs to you. Your name must not be on a landed certificate, a car, or some other property before you own the property. So I told the girl that this notion that you guys believe that the man must die first Who brought it in your mind? Well, I couldn't help but understand the lady, because statistics has proven that in most marriages, men die first. And because of that, I started thinking. It got me thinking, and I've sat down today meditating on this topic, and I came to realize that there is an error in the pairing. The first problem is in the pairing. The pairing has to do with what? God said, I make man in my image, and I'm going to give him a helpmate. People should get married to assets instead of liabilities. When you marry a liability, your days on earth will go short, because you are going to play the responsibility of two persons. And once you are playing the responsibility of two persons, your lifespan will be short. Most of times, people don't get married to people who come to help them. They get married to people whom they admire. You may admire somebody who is not a helper. God did not give Adam a woman he admired. He gave a woman who was a helper. There is this song that came once. Ma chérie, maintenant on se marie plus au hasard. Si j'ai payé courant, tu vas payer de l'eau. That is to let you understand that in this modern day, we don't get married for nothing. There is an interest in marriage. And this marriage that we are doing this day is a marriage that the burdens of the family, the burdens of the extended family can be shared in between two parties. So marriage is a union of two persons who share responsibilities. I've always heard people preach and say the responsibility is the man. The responsibility is the man. But I beg to disagree today on this platform that marriage is a shared responsibility of two persons. The woman is coming to help. And once the man begins to play the role of the woman, the man carries the woman's burden and carries the woman's stress, and therefore the man is definitely bearing the woman's years of pain. That is to say, you are carrying the stress of two persons. You cannot live your own personal life. If you are destined to live for 70 to 80 years and you are carrying the burdens of two persons, you might not live long. There is a story of Benson Andre Idahosa. The work he did for 60 years when he died, an autopsy was conducted on his body, and they said his system showed like someone that has lived for 120 years, which means he did a work for 120 years in 60 years. He compressed the job. So when a man carries his own burden and therefore carries the wife's burden in the family, his years are reduced because the woman is a liability, not an asset. These days, you don't get married with sentiments and feelings. You open your eyes and look. What does she have to contribute in this relationship? Because it is a deal you are broken into. A child should not come and the entire responsibility stands on the man's shoulder. There is no food in the house. The man is thinking, he has psychological and physical breakdown. He is thinking what the man, because thinking makes you old. Work makes you old. Stress makes you older. In case you are doing the stress of the man and the woman, then you are carrying the burden of two persons, thereby reducing your number of years on earth. So the challenge we have is in the pairing. If men want to live long these days, do not repeat the errors that our mothers did and our fathers did in the past. There must be a mentality of shared responsibility between two couples. We are not in the days where a man will pay water, pay light, pay house, pay children fees, buy this, and even buy parts to the extent of buying gas lighter in the house to light the gas. That man is carrying the burden of him and his wife. And if he is destined to live for 70 years, he may live for 40 years because he has lived the woman's life and lived the woman's pain and her stress. That's why you go to relationships, the men look very cranky, tattered, shattered, and their wives are blossoming. They are looking fresh, like flowers that rains are falling upon them, not knowing that the man is carrying the responsibility for the man and the woman. We are in the days where children have to go back to school. The man should be thinking about the books, the mother is thinking about the school fees. When responsibilities are shared, it gives a balance in our lifespan on earth.
Okay. Yes, like I was saying, a study actually shows that there is a marked difference in the lifespan of married men compared with what obtained 40 years ago, which suggests that our mothers had a different way of handling these issues, and maybe the stress levels on our parents were not as much as we have today. We're saying that most of our wives today need to get back to school, to learning what how their mothers did.
Actually, I may not have known the statistics that you brought up concerning the It's our generation and that of old. But I have an idea of what I used to see.
Okay.
Because people of old, especially the men, they live longer than the women. No, almost like the women.
Yes.
Than
the situation is
today. They live longer. The men live longer because they don't eat junk food. They used to eat plantains from the farm, without fertilizer, without all those kind of things. They eat good herbs, all those kind of things. You see, they eat a lot of vegetables because that's what was available at that time. But today, the men want to drink artificial things. They want to go to bars. New kinds of drinks are coming up today. They want to take it. Some have to go to the extent of be taking hard drugs and cigarettes and all these things. Go a long way to destroy your lungs and other parts of your body. Now, our fathers of old, they used to do what they call snuffing. They snuffed. Yes. Or how do they, whether they call it what? Is it sniffing or snuff? Snuff. Yes, they sniff. Okay. So they were just doing that because they wanted to clear their brain. They used to say to clear your brain. When you take it and you sneeze, what happens? You get your brain clear again to see the future. Now, it was difficult to see cigarettes. The people that could take cigarettes were those kind of show guys, those kind of guys that were working in certain kind of places that could take cigarettes. But now every young boy on the street holds cigarettes on their hands. I've seen it everywhere. You see a guy of 14, 15 years old, they are now smoking cigarettes. Now, it's not necessarily the women that will kill you. Cigarettes will kill you. Drinking will kill you. Other kinds of things will destroy your life. So I think that what was happening in those days, the kind of food that our mothers used to prepare for their husbands, it was free of fertilizer. It was free of some kind of maybe concoctions that are not healthy for the body. Because if you go to nutritionists, they will tell you about nutrition, how to eat, how to live. And people who practice that, they live for long. What happens with our water today? There's a lot of pollution and everything. In those days, our waters were fresh. They were coming from the source, natural source, natural. And they would drink this water and be healthy. But today, what do we have? Everywhere, even the ones that have been purified, they are still having some challenges. If you pick some of these bottles that they sell and you even lift it up to look at it, you may not like to drink that water again because of what is happening. So, coupled with all these things and the love and the concern and the respect that our mothers of old gave to their husbands, it could make these men to live longer. Because the women were going to the farms, they were working and doing other things, adding their own efforts to make these men very comfortable. Why would they not live long? Like I was living with one of my grandfathers that he had a lot of pigs, he had a lot of goats, cows and everything, and we were taking care of those things, and he lived for about 100 and something years old because he was relaxed, really relaxed. Because we were there to carry out his assignments. There was a lot of respect. But today what happens? Even our own children will not respect the father. So what do you expect? And the mother will even support the child against the father. So why would that man have a long life? Why would that man want to live long? It's because our young wives of today, they are not making efforts to cooperate with their husbands and get them live a good life. They say, in Akukan today, if you know one chop your liver, and then the man is forced to either eat it or maybe go to a joint to mami put, then to get something to eat. And when he gets those things, it carries along typhoid, it carries along some kind of intestinal disorder, and then you see him, you know, he cannot treat himself because when he feels pain, he takes small, maybe some small drugs, and then it subsides and he thinks it's over, but it is still there eating up, cutting the intestines, destroying the intestines, the liver, the kidneys and all the like because of that. So I think that our mothers of old could take good care of their husbands. They could be there for the husbands. Sometimes they could even do this massage we're talking about. They know the leaves, the kind of leaves they will use for massage. They know the kind of leaves they will even use for the husband to bathe with. And there was this one that they put in a pot, and then this hot water in a pot, and different kinds of leaves like mango leaves, pawpaw leaves, and all the like, and they will put there in a basin, and they will use blankets and other dresses and cover the man. You see, it takes in some air and it removes those bad, those toxics from the body. Those men could live long because they ate a lot of things that were healthy for their body. It could develop them, it could develop their system. But today, you see a child of 4 or 5 years is like a father. It's like an old man because of artificial food and other things. So I think that there is a concern, there is really a need for this nowadays, that young girls who are getting into marriage should not just rush there. They should be able to understand what the marriage institution is all about, how to preserve their husbands and to keep them alive.
Which comes back to the question I'm asking, that
yes,
many young girls should actually also undergo the art of taking care of their husbands.
Yes.
Because like he said earlier on, the man caters for almost everything and forgets about himself. Meanwhile, the wife takes very good care of herself and the child, and then forgets. Yes, you spend 80% of the time making sure that you look good. Meanwhile, the guy is always manicure, pedicure, all of those things. Don't you think that you should also create time? The women today should know that they have that responsibility of also taking care of their husbands.
That's hugely right, Mr. Liu. That's very correct. As in, the woman has that responsibility to help, to aid her husband live longer, so that she will not be called a widow at a very young age. You said something that they take a lot of time trying to make themselves beautiful. Ironically, women will tell that I want to look beautiful for my husband, so I should not go outside. If we don't get beautiful, they say that you stay, you neglected yourself. Anyway, notwithstanding, that doesn't mean we have to neglect our husbands because we have to take care of ourselves. No. I was about to say one of the reasons why men die, and one of the things they should do, they should learn to have rest. Men work themselves a lot. A lot of men work just too much. And the reason why they work is because they want to prove a point. They want to prove, most of them want to prove that, okay, I'm the man, I can take care. Now, I want to encourage the men, don't be afraid to take your woman along, to teach her to do basic things, to teach her to be an entrepreneur, to introduce her into the business world, to send her into school so that she can have a job and help you too. And to the women, you can still have money, you can still be financially independent and still submissive. Now, this is the reason why most men will not talk. There are some things that men would like their wives to be or to do, but they will not say it for obvious reasons. For instance, every man will want his wife to be financially independent, will want his wife to be that kind of a woman who can take care of herself or who can take care of other needs at home. For obvious reasons, this man wants to be secured. He wants to be sure that if anything happens to me today, this woman can take care of my children. He wants to be sure that in my absence, my children won't die of hunger. He wants to be sure that if I do not have money, I can rely on my wife to assist. It's not all my body. These are the things that most men will want from women. They will not want to say it. Why? Because women are arrogant when they get financially independent. Most times, in most cases, when women get that financial independence, when money starts entering them, if you are not careful, arrogance sets in, disrespect, and they come out from that place of submission. So a man is afraid, if I allow this woman get the level of finances she wants to get, if I introduce her into business and she start making money, she might become very arrogant and she will not respect me anymore. Some men have this kind of fear. But I want to tell women, you can be financially independent. You can have that finances. You can work and aid your husband. You can actually have money and still be very submissive. If only you understand your place in marriage. That's the first thing, knowing who you are, knowing your role, identifying, defining your role, knowing where you belong, and staying where you belong. And cautioning yourself that whatever becomes of you tomorrow, whether you have money more than your husband, you put up a business that flourishes more than that of your husband, you owe him that respect, you owe him the duty to be submissive. That way your husband will feel secure, he will feel confident, and he can allow you flow, he can allow you do all the businesses. Because we have had women, I've had women that have walked up to me and tell me that, my husband does not want me to do anything. My husband does not allow me to do some things. He just wants me to stay at home, cook food, eat, wait for him. Some men actually have this kind of fear. But we the women, we have to prove to these men that we know our position. We know that we were created from a man's rib. And God has placed a man an authority over us. And despite our financial stand in life, we owe him that respect. Just like the church owes respect to Christ. He is the head of it. That same way a man is the head of the home. So this provokes a lot of men to work extremely hard so that they can maintain their positions on top. So that they can always be called daddy, the man. And in no occasion they will want to allow that position to be treaded upon. And you know, the easiest way for a man to lose his authority over a woman, in most cases, is being unable to meet up with your responsibilities.
Okay, I'll take so many messages, but let me read a few. Greetings, Mr. Leo. My regards to all the panelists, especially my able Apostle Ambe. I really appreciate my media for this program. Honestly, this program is giving a lot of positive impacts in homes around the world. Keep it up, Mr. Leo. Richard is writing from Equatorial Guinea. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and to the panelists. Can Apostle Ambe support his points of views with some Bible references? Have you noticed that today most divorce homes we have in our communities today are couples who are both working and well-to-do? Kizito writing from Limbe. Apostle has taken note. I support what Madam Henrietta is saying, but it's only possible with God-fearing women. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Wonderful topic. I think most men live long in the past because of laziness. Almost all responsibilities were on ladies, and the only thing men were doing was drinking palm wine. While today, men today are too ambitious with many problems to solve. Mark is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all the panelists. It's always with great anxiousness watching this program. In fact, it's the best. It's also very educative. May God bless and inspire you guys more. Karin is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Karin. Hi, Mr. Liu. What if the man doesn't want the wife to? This Mirabel writing from Yaoundé too. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I appreciate your team effort building relationships and marriages through this platform. My regards to you all, and my prayer for you is God grants you people more wisdom and more knowledge to help the world in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm Frida writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Mo, watching us from Yaoundé. Hello, I think that mentality of man may be dying first generally came from the age difference. In our culture, the majority of the husbands are far older than the wives. Kuni Esther is writing from Bamenda also. Good evening to you, man from Grong, who is watching us from Muyam. But Apostle, let's get Mr. Asanji Yvette, who is on standby from Bamenda. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Liu. Good evening, Madam Henrietta. Good evening to the apostles and to the televiewers. What can men do to live longer and enjoy their marriage or enjoy their relationship? The first thing we must understand is marriage was meant to be enjoyed. It wasn't meant to be endured. Okay? And if a man has to enjoy marriage, he needs to understand, it starts from picking a wife. It starts from choosing a wife. If you choose the wrong wife, obviously you can't enjoy marriage. When God said a man needs a suitable helper, every woman is a helper, but there is a woman that is more suitable to help you on God's assignment in your life, in your career, and in every other thing. So for men to enjoy marriage, they must understand, it starts from who you get married to. Is that person a suitable helper for you? And so when you choose someone who is suitable helper for you, that is the first step. The second thing a man should do to enjoy marriage is they should understand that if God said he needs a suitable helper, he needs to be open to the helper. He needs to be honest. Open up to the helper. Let the helper know which areas of his life he needs help in the most. Because this woman will not just come to help you if you don't help him. Sorry, if you don't help her to help you. She needs to understand you. So you need to work hand in glove with her. You need to work, build friendship with her. If you must enjoy your marriage, you must make friendship a center, a centerpiece for your marriage. When you relate with this suitable helper on a friendly basis, she's going to understand what she has to help you in the most. And that is how it will help you to enjoy your marriage. But a lot of men don't understand that women came in as suitable helpers. They rather look at them as if they are mates. Unless you get to understand that she is a helper, she came into your life to help you, you will not know, her place in your life and in your home. She's not a maid. Because if you needed a house help, you would have gotten a house help. If you needed food, you would have eaten good food in a restaurant. If you needed any other thing, maybe your dress is to be washed, you can get it done. But she's a help.
Okay, that was Mr. Sanji Yvette from Bomenda, Apostle Ambi Valentine Ngwa. We are looking at what we should do. She's raising an issue that was also raised by Madame Henrietta. It starts with, even he said that it starts with taking time to know the person you are engaging with.
Yes, knowing the person you are engaging with is not actually the issue. I'm sure with the period people spend in courtship, you are supposed to know the person you are engaged into. You are getting married to somebody you already know, because in courtship you discover the persons. What I have to say here today is that most men equally die because women cook what is easy, not what is healthy.
Okay, the food.
Yes, they mostly cook what is easy to prepare than what is healthy. Because I've discovered that most of the healthiest food are most of the times complicated to prepare. Things like doing salad, you have to jom here, and then doing smoothies through fruits that have to be graded in the machine and then brought together. But you see egusi soup, groundnut soup and rice, charara, microwave generation, stew and rice, parara, they are gone. So we live in a generation where women don't cook what is healthy, they cook what is easy. And what you eat determine the number of days on earth. We live in a time whereby women are so busy with so many things. A woman will choose to follow telenovela for 5 hours and cook what is easier in the next 2 hours. 30 minutes, because the husband is coming by 6 o'clock. So she watches telenovela or she watches Z World. She watches all these Filipino films, and then she knows that by 4 o'clock she can just run around, pick some more rice, tomato, and the rest. If we go to check the content of rice and stew, there is practically nothing inside. That's not a balanced diet. And what a man feeds for so many years can determine the lifestyle or lifespan you have on earth. Most sicknesses are born out of what we consume.
Yes.
Yes, most of the food we eat these days are chemicalized food. We don't eat things that are healthy. How do you explain that a man before leaving his office already has in his mind what he's going to eat in the house? Because there's nothing strange. There's a routine that goes around every week. Rice and stew, groundnut soup and rice, fufu and arrow, spaghetti. And then you check around, there is practically nothing healthy in what people are eating. Men have a complicated system. Number two, the age group of men. Once you enter an age like 40, things change. A statistic was conducted recently in America, and if you look at a child of about 4 or 5 years, when they want to urinate, They will stand, they say, let me draw S in the air. The urine will go right in the air and then come down. It tells you that the prostate of that child is very strong. But a man of my age cannot stand and draw S in the air. It means the prostate is failing. And prostate equally develops to cancer based on the kind of things we consume. Men have a complicated system from 40 and above. A woman cooks a pot of soup and put 19 Maggi inside. Maggi is not the crayfish you see on that paper. Maggi is a chemical formed in Switzerland in the 18th century by a Swedish scientist. It's a chemical. That thing you see there, they say it is crayfish. It's not crayfish. It came to replace a particular vegetable and dry fish that was used in those in Africa. So that thing is a chemical in a Swiss slab that was fabricated and sent to Africa. When you eat such things, you got almost 40% of men in this generation have prostate cancer.
And that Maggi, they use what they call formol, that they use in
formalin in the mortuary. In the mortuary.
Yes.
That means your husband is eating death. And in other words, the person that controls what you consume can determine your life on earth. When laziness locks into a house and women cook what is easy, not what is healthy, is dangerous. Number two, when your husband increases in age, it is your responsibility to decide what he eats, because what he eats from that age will determine if it's going to last or long. The last thing is this: women have not bothered to take time to study what is healthy. They think that cooking is what you brought from your mother's house. The age we are right now, you are supposed to go on a research to know what is healthy and what is not healthy. If you just let your mother have fufu and the they taught you, rice and beans they taught you, you have not sat down to check the kind of things that build the human system. Every woman must go through a course to study what is healthy for consumption. And the things that are healthy are never tasteful. Most of the things that are very healthy, they are never tasteful. That you are eating a pot of stew and the thing tastes in your mouth does not mean it is healthy. Tasteful food is not healthy food. And that is where you see most women have not bothered to understand that to calculate on what your children or your husband eats is a whole course on its own. You have to sit down. There are books in bookshops that talks about things you have to eat, the kind of fruits, the kind of nuts you have to eat. Women have to do and introduce that. I sat in a conference that nutritionist was teaching. She said she has developed an attitude where some Fridays in her family they don't eat anything. It's only fruits. Only fruits. That is Madam Agnes Balinga. She used to teach in JHST.
Yes.
JHS Mama taught us in that seminar how he has built the children in such a way that on some Fridays they don't cook anything in the house. They drink just water and eat fruits. That is to detoxify your system. Under that kind of atmosphere, people are bound to live long if witchcraft is not there or unforeseen circumstances don't occur. Health issues are very, very important. What your husband consumes also matters. So women help to send their husband to their graves through euthanasia. It is called mercy killing. They kill you silently by giving you what to consume. So every woman should take up the responsibility. Being educated as a banker, an engineer, an accountant, a pilot does not make you a specialist in nutrition. What keeps your husband alive is not your profession or your money, it's what he consumes. So go and study what is healthy food, not easy food. That is to be taken into serious consideration.
Yeah. Very serious.
Very serious, but some people also are sent to having to be taking their lives and also committing suicide because they discover some very nasty things about their wives, and some people are suggesting that to live happily you should not delve into the privacy of your partner. Is it possible?
Yeah,
that the two have become one, yet we have privacies.
Yeah, it's a little. There is this apostle that preached the other day, Reverend Jesus Song from United Kingdom. He said something that was very strong, and I want to quote him. I want to try to paraphrase what he said. He said that women have been taught by women how to take care of men. Women have been taught by women how to take care of men. But women have not been taught by men how to take care of themselves. Because it is men who know well what a man is going through. And you see, in most of these women meetings, they don't call men there. Most, even in our churches, they say, no, a women meeting. Man picking up for near them. One talk secret. And they begin to teach these women some things. According to them, they are talking very nice things. Okay, just like Madame Forticular was saying here now, right now, she said most men will want their wives to go and work and then get something. It's not most men. Most men don't even want their wives to work because they know that when their wives go out there, they're going to sleep with men out there. They're going to sleep with their boss. They're going to have this and that and that. I've seen a lot of women who complain. My husband, no, I do nothing. I start small business, the thing they work. It just cut us with it. Me and locker because it the fears me man can also me or man can talk with me. So this thing has brought a lot of problems. And then that angel woman that you thought was an angel and you were keeping in the secret, only to discover that neighbor is helping neighbor. Neighbor, they help neighbor. Then what happens? That shock. That shock comes on you. And the next thing you're going to think is either to kill the woman, to kill yourself, or to fight the neighbor. And when you think about the possibilities of doing all that and you discover that doing that will take you to prison, doing that will raise a kind of alarm, you say, okay, than for me to do that to others and go to prison, it better I kill myself. Now, I would advise women, please, don't be looking for secrets. No, don't look for secrets. If you want a healthy marriage and to live a healthy life, and you want you and your husband to live till good old age, avoid some kind of secrets. Life is full of secrets. There are some things that you will even know and you decide to ignore them. I was talking to my wife the other day because her profession warrants people to talk to her all the time. And sometimes some people even send some funny messages to her, to chat her, and else. I said, I can never touch her. She said she wants to tell me her password for her. I said, why? I don't want to even try it. I don't want to know it. She said, no, she's giving my phone. Let me walk on the phone. I said, I will walk on the phone, but I will not check anything there. When I check it, what I see, you cannot determine how I will interpret it. You cannot determine it. Okay, look like me, a young guy and this kind of things. I'm chatting with a lot of people all over the world and some kind of things. And then you take my phone, and then the next thing you see is a girl who tell you that I love you. Then the next thing you see, because on net, you know that one of the days that we're talking here on air like this, somebody made a comment on the Facebook. My wife attacked me through that comment. She attacked me in the house, and I told her, I said, what? I said, so you're attacking me because somebody made a comment. So what if you see a message that another woman sent to me? It will be terrible now. Yes, it will be terrible. So I will never, I insist, advise a woman to begin to dig secrets. Mr. Leo, you cannot imagine. I'm telling you this, not a joke. My wife understands what I'm talking, and she's a keen follower to what we are saying here. I don't go to her bag. Okay. No, I don't search her bag. If she wants to take anything from the bag, send the children to go and take it and bring it. I don't enter a woman's bag. If I need anything that I don't have at that time, please, can you help me, give me this? It has gone to the extent where even accounts, I don't go there myself. No, I don't. Please, if you want to come, bring the money. No, you don't like to go to, I say no, bring the money. That sometimes I want to avoid some kind of things, those things that destroy marriages. You want to be putting your eyes on your wife's money to know how she gets money. Do you think that your wife lives only on her salary? There are other gifts that people will give and everything, and she will not tell you. Yes, and if you want to be putting all of your mind on those things, you will suffocate yourself. So live a liberated, free life. No, don't worry the small thing. You want to see your wife with 5,000. You be saying you don't get money. How you manage get 5,000? I see you debating them when you don't get money. Don't worry about women. Don't worry about that. So men will worry a lot about women's secrets and all the like. They die early. Either you will hear of cardiac arrest, you will hear of heart attack, you will hear of some kind of sicknesses. Sometimes they hold grudges against the wife for many years. We have seen people calling, writing us messages here and telling us that my husband has not spoken to me for 1 year. My husband has not spoken to me for 6 months. You want to kill yourself. You want to die early. You don't talk with your wife for 6 months. You are dead. You are dead man. You are drinking poison and dying, but you don't know.
Okay. So we should learn to speak out there. Good evening, Pastor. We, the men in Paradise Street, we congratulate your advice. Some of us is suffering the same effects in our homes. Okay, they have told you don't check their bags, don't check their phones, and some of these things. Good evening, Mr. Liu. When a man wants a state and enjoying a relationship, men should also cook, wash dresses, and cook, also keep the house clean. Please, my fellow men, allow your wife to work or do some business to raise her own money, and don't check on her money. Even when she plays what we call Njangi, don't ask to know about it. Then you have discipline yourself and serve over your wife. Mr. Liu, when a man can perform the above house activities, the woman will never use that as an advantage. We men die or don't enjoy or stay long in marriage because we believe that it's only women who can cook or wash dresses. Man from Grong is writing from Man from Grong. You are an advocate, you are l'avocat de femme. That's good. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Mikado writing from Yaoundé. Men today don't only work for themselves and their families, but other relatives who look up to them financially, which was not done by our fathers of old. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Ndumu Nelvis from Bonaberry. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. So it did not say he who finds a girl or a woman. So men that finds a wife will live longer than men that finds a girl or a woman. Madam is going to talk on that. So men should start looking for wives and not girls due to their beauty. Okay. I think men should marry as much as possible so that amongst them one will be your God sent. By Soldier Boy writing from Limbe. Yes, but many wives, many trouble. Good evening, Mr. Liu and crew. Many of our women today are very stingy compared to those in those days. They have used their money for themselves, while the man's own does everything. God help us. Derek is writing from Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the entire panelists. Great topic to educate the entire public. Accepting your partner for who they are. Houses are fixers, uppers, but viewing your spouse that way is a recipe for disaster. Accept your partner just for who they are. Don't try to change them. After all, people can only change if they want to. Just accept their strengths and weaknesses that make them unique, and that you love them for that. Every other thing will work just fine to a long-lasting relationship or marriage. Aden VF watching from Halifax, Canada. Clotilde from Bamenda says, good evening, please. What would you do when you only have to force your spouse to take a bath? He even prefers sleeping off on the couch or on his machine than on the bed. He's just so work conscious that he doesn't even have time to relax. When you ask him to take some time to rest, he says you are stopping him from working. Good evening to you, Clotilde. Yes, Madam Fortinglet.
Okay, a man is asking about, he's saying you get married to a woman and not a girl.
Yes.
If I got him right.
You marry a wife,
Yes,
a woman or a girl.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a woman making a wife and not a girl, or
Yes.
something like that. Okay. It is very important at the time you want to get married as a man to make a right choice. Not every female in skirts is a wife material. It is good and important that you take your time and be able to know which one is a wife before you put into your home, and that will equally make you to live longer and have peace of mind. But the error men do sometimes is that they want to be smart. And I can assure you, if you are a good man, first of all, if you want a good wife, be a good man. Because when you are a good man, when you meet a good woman, deep will call to the deep. When you meet a good woman, your instinct will tell that this is a good woman. When you are first of all a playboy, it is very difficult to find a good woman. Because we are looking for a good wife, but we have not actually made ourselves good husbands in the first place. If we have made ourselves good husbands, then we'll be able to identify a good woman when we see one. Now, there is this category of men, Mr. Leo, I'm going to tell you, there is a category of men who think they are very smart. Some men think that they are very smart when they are young, and it catches up with them at their old age. Because we are very good at looking at a man when he is old, suffering, going through a lot of troubles. Maybe the present woman in his house is giving him a lot of headache. But we have not bothered to find out the seed he sowed when he was much younger. Because there is something they call Kamer. That the bad you do, it catches up with you at the time you are not expecting. There are lots of men out there who think they are very smart. When they are much young, they have money, they've spent their time sleeping from one woman to the other until they skip over very good wives and they don't even identify that they are good wives. Their role at that time, or what they specialize doing, is hurting, breaking the hearts of women. They will break this heart of this woman, move to the next woman, take her, use her, cause her to abort, throw in the toilet, move to the next woman, and at that time they call it that they are smart. They say, I'm a playboy, I have my money, I'm handsome, I can do all the things I do because I have money, I can take care of the women. They can keep 4 or 5 women at the same time. They pass over good women, wife material. They cannot identify because at that time they are playboys. And they tell themselves that when I will be ready to get married, I'll look for a wife. You know what? God being a just God, most often than not, he will wait for that time and he will package a Jezebel and give you. He will make sure that he packaged that wife that corresponds to what you have done to the women, to other women when you were much younger, and he gives it to you.
God is always merciful now.
Excuse me, Mr. Leo, that is it, because we always think that God will forgive. Let's say devil. Good. He will package a devil and put in your house at that time. Let me tell you, the wrath of a woman whose heart has been broken can kill your entire life. That is a good, genuine woman that comes into your life when you are young, you are smart, you are intelligent, and you have money, and she wants to make her life. You deceive her, maybe you cause her to abort all her children, and then you abandon her, you dump her and go to another woman. When she sits in the place of to cry out her lungs, all those tears that she cries, other women you have broken their hearts, other fine women you could have gotten married to, you break their hearts and you abandon them. And now when you get old, or when you decide to get married, you fall into the hands of the wrong woman simply because you think you are very smart, and then she starts tormenting your life and giving you back what you have been giving to other women. At the end of the day, you have a heartbreak, you die before it is time, not because it is that woman is, maybe it's just an agent that she has just been sent to give you back what was given to you. The tears of those innocent women that cried out. So what am I telling women, men here? One of the easiest way for a man to cut short his life on planet Earth is to play pranks with women when you are much younger. Is to think that you are smart. You can sleep with 50 women in 1 week because you think you have money. You're killing your own self. You're not killing those women. You're killing yourselves gradually, and you're gradually dying. At the time you want to get married, you might even identify this was one of the wives I should have gotten married to, but because I pray I cannot even go back to her. And then you go carry a woman and put in your house, and she starts tormenting you, and you die before time. We
are living in the dispensation of grace now.
It's not about grace.
You should not forgive and forget all what they did in the wrong.
Who is the one?
Is it not the Bible that says, behold, everything is gone?
It's that no, you cannot sow corn and expect to harvest plantain. What you sow is what you will harvest. Break happy women's heart, abort children, drink and do what you want to do, and you think that you will go and cry on the altar for God to forgive you. There are children crying in the toilets.
No, many of them give their life to Jesus after that, and they start living with
God has forgiven now.
My father used to say that the crime, you give your life to Jesus, God forgives you, but that thing you already did remains with you. For instance, if he used to quote this example, if you go around messing up your life and you get into prostitution, you get HIV, you contract HIV, for instance. My father in the Lord, Apostle and Bible, now if you give your life to Christ, Christ accepts you, but that HIV lives within you, and it takes God of grace for him to heal. He decides whether to heal, but that HIV is with you. That's the effect of what you're doing. God has forgiven you.
Through faith, Madam Fortingley, he was bruised not to heal us now.
If that is what men have to consider, if men consider that I will sleep, I will do what I can, break women's heart and do everything and go scot-free, that time will come. You will ask God.
Temper is justice with mercy. Apostle Lambe, no, let's get another woman from Bamenda. I hope you will be merciful to us, Madam Asanji. Tell us what we should be doing to live happily and longer.
Mr. Leo, I would like the men to understand that relationship is about relating. You know, you relate with each other. Most times, you know, men think getting married is you go and get a wife, you come and keep at home. You go to work, you leave work, you hang out with your friends, you drink, you come home drunk, or sometimes you keep late nights, and then when you come home and she's not happy, you know, you blame her for not being happy. How are you relating with her? Men should understand that a woman is an amplifier. Whatever you give a woman, she gives you triple of it. She will amplify it for you. Give her a house, she'll give you a home. Give her just one sperm, she'll give you a baby. Give her peace, she'll make, you know, the home will be raining with peace. Love her, and you will receive love in return. I mean, triple of it. So whatever you give to a woman, she triples it and give it back to you. That's how women, they're emotional beings. If you show them hatred, you know, the hatred will bounce back in them towards you. You show them love, the love will bounce back towards you. So whatever you want to see in your wife, be the example of it. Men think being committed to a relationship will make them lose their independence and self-sufficiency. No. Be committed to your wife. If you want to enjoy marriage, create time for your wife. Make communication, you know, a necessity. Have time to sit down with your wife and assess, how was this month with us? How was this year? What is it that we did that was good? What is it that we did that we need to improve on? Communicate with your wife. Learn to talk, you know, get her own opinion about key things. Let her feel like she's part of that marriage. Remember, marriage is teamwork. Marriage is teamwork. So if she has to feel like part of that marriage, she doesn't just need, you know, just need to sit down and see you buy a couch and bring, even without asking her the color of couch that she needs. Just go and buy a television set and bring. You don't even ask her opinion. Just listen to her. Whatever you give her, she will give you triple of it. So marriage is meant for enjoyment. You are the one to set the ball rolling. As the head of the family, lead with examples. If you want love, love, and you will receive it triple. If you want to respect, respect her, and she will give you triple of that respect. If you want to be treated like a king, my dear, treat her like a queen. A king is married to a queen, not to a slave. Thank you.
The way you guys are accusing us today, that will end up, I'll have to ask you this one last question, Apostle Ambe, is if we really want to live happily and longer, should we at a very tender age in marriage start preparing for old age in marriage?
Yes, we should prepare for old age. Statistics has proven that most men die at 62 because some common sicknesses like prostate cancer, liver cancer, lungs cancer, high blood pressure. Those are the things that come at that age. If you kidney problems, if you prepare earlier, like say 40, at the age of 40 or 35, you start preparing yourself at old age, there are some certain burdens you will not be able to bear. Sometimes you hear people say that when this my child will grow and become something, from that time I will start drinking water. You don't wait for a child to give you water, because the child might end up never having her own container to give you the water. So you have to prepare yourself prior to that age. And it's very important that when you are reaching the age of 35 years, start preparing yourself for 60, 70 years, where someone will be working for you, not you working any work, because the energy and the time will not be there. Sometimes you see a 60-year-old man is running helter-skelter to see sponsors and children in university. That level of stress at that age can cut your life short. Sometimes they even pay your rent. If they don't prepare earlier, you will get frustrated. Sometimes you can go give birth to children outside and then come and enter into the little house you built. Then they are showing the number of mouths they feed it. If you did not, the burden increases. Because we sometimes talk about children, we are living with their children's children. You are living with child, you are living with your child's child.
Yes.
And that burden becomes too heavy. Sometimes the people are not even able to bear. They don't even have their own to eat. And to conclude, Madam Asanji, when we give people millions of sperms, you give us one child. So you don't multiply everything we give you. Go and check biology. That womb that you are carrying like that, we used to send trillions of them. You go cash now one, give it back. You did not multiply, you reduced it.
And I think, Mr. Leo, in this case of we don't marry women, we don't marry girls, the philosophy behind it is that a woman or a wife, you marry a wife, you don't marry, she must first be a wife before you marry her. Because a woman marriage and begin to do by error, a wife. A woman called badly home, bad home bringing, upbringing. Bad home upbringing. Yeah, mommy, they don't spoil you or finish. You want to you want kind of inside marriage for cancer, you can't begin to do for be wife. How you? It cannot work. So you must be a wife before you marry. Find a wife. Go and find women or girls. Find wife. The person must have groomed them.
You don't become a wife in marriage.
Yes, make investigations. You don't make
a wife for they marry. They marry wives.
They marry wives.
Okay. Some men I'm in relationship, though, my advice for them is to try other ships like entrepreneurship, and if it doesn't work, then go for worship. If it will fail you. Noel from Bankolo is saying good evening to you. Good evening to Noel. If wholeheartedly or in other words of taking care of couples are likely to live longer, but and most the key to long life in Mr. Liu. If women don't work, men will die like fishes. Women must work to support the men here. Okay, Anita Eno is writing there. Good evening, you. I'm enjoying your program. I got Apostle from there. Good evening, Miss Kongni is writing from Bamenda. Greetings to all in the studio. I really appreciate you all for impacting the world with this kind of topics. May God increase you all intellectually and prosper you in Jesus' name. I am Tiba Courage from Boya. Special greetings to Pastor. Thank you, Courage. Good evening, sir. With much pleasure, I would like to contribute in the program. Why should men attribute the problem to women when you are taking bottles of beer as pride? Do you think about your life? Going out misusing your energy with women out there. You think your wife is to be blamed when things get bad on you? I'm Cecilia writing from Douala. Oops, the women are counter-attacking, eh? Not easy. Okay, please, Mr. Liu, me on how to handle such a case. Thanks. Let me read your case. Good evening, please. What would you do when you only have to force your spouse to take a bath? I read that already. He even prefers sleeping off on the couch or on his machine than on the bed. He's just so work conscious that he doesn't even have time to relax. When you ask him to take some time to rest, he says you are stopping him from working. Okay, Apostle Lambe, I don't know whether you can answer her. The lady has a mastery of the subject. She understands the institution and she knows the vocabulary and she's on top of her game. I love it. Great points raised. Your service to this nation as a journalist can't be overemphasized. Thank you very much, Suremi. This one says, oops. I will also add that even when a woman cooks stew, she should add carrots, cabbage, green pepper, spring onion, etc. to make it nutritious. Okay. Yes, this one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Is Mr. Tabe from Paradise Street, Fiango? One Madame Fortinglet is said is truth. Some of us suffer the fate. Sorry, have suffered the fate. I'm enjoying your program. Thank you very much. Stop calling, please. We can't take your calls. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and all of you in the studio. In line with what Apostle is saying, he just said, relationship is fruitful when it's planted on fertile soil, and on the fertile soil is trust. Know your partner and allow your partner to know you. Frank and Same is writing from Yaoundé. We're moving straight to our second topic tonight. We are starting with you, Madame Fortinglet, about whether in a marriage relationship do we have equal rights as a man and as a woman.
Mr. Liu, no. And it's a no. There cannot be an authority and equality at the same time.
Okay.
It doesn't work out. Marriage, we all know from Genesis, a woman is just a little part from a man. Bible says that a rib was taken from a man to create a woman, and this woman to be a helper. You're being a helper to somebody who is able and who is already in existence and who is your superior. You're just there to be his helpmate. This man is already your authority. Like Bible equally said, women, submit yourself to your husband as Christ is to the church. You only submit to an authority. You do not submit to somebody, to your equal, or to somebody who is lesser than you. You submit to an authority. There is no way I am going to stand here to tell women or to tell anybody out there to hear from my mouth that in marriage a woman has an equal right as the man, or is equal to the man. I don't know if I should put it that way. Is equal to the man. It is not just happening. The man remains the authority of the home, and that is why all along we have been talking about the man doing this, the man doing much of the work, the man doing all of that, working the money, and in fact much of the money and all the like. The man is so super conscious of his responsibility because he knows his position as the authority. And that is why he will kill himself with work. He will work, sleep, he will work all night, all day, because he is the authority. And you, the wife, who sit back, we are not saying that you sit back doing nothing, or we don't sit back doing nothing. We sit back doing our own things, but you cannot measure it to what the man wants to do to keep the family together. Saying that a woman is equal to a man in a marital relationship is saying that Christ is equal to the church. It's like you want to say, okay, we are the same with Jesus Christ. The difference is clear. And there is this hierarchy that Christ, God, has placed on earth. We have God, we have Jesus, the man, and before the woman. The woman, though, is connected to Christ, but answers to her husband, who answers to Christ, and Christ to God. So we cannot start this discussion by saying that there is equality.
We are in the 21st century.
No, it doesn't happen.
The man and the
I am
woman,
against feminism. I am not part of. I'm not in support of feminism.
We are in the 21st century. You want to?
Yes, there is something I want to make you understand. They didn't ask us. No, that they didn't ask us whether they have the same authority. They ask about equal rights in the court of law. A man and a woman has equal rights. When you sign joint property, yours truly, you have the same rights. You have right to your children. You have right to the properties in the house. You have right to everything you both own. So you have equal rights. But when it comes to authority and leading the family, it's the man that has that authority. So when we begin to mix these two things, we will go wrong. We'll do some kind of things.
Yeah, because
okay, yes. I really
let me get. I want to honor the women first.
Yeah, okay.
Madam Asanji, what do you think? Do we have the same rights, you and Mr. Asanji in the house? The same right?
Okay, Mr. Leo, once more, good evening. Coming to this second part of the topic, equal rights in marriage or in a relationship, you know, Universal Declaration of Human Rights affirm that men and women have equal rights. But I want us to be very careful when we talk about equal rights in marriage, because there are two sides to equal rights in marriage. First, I'd like everybody to know, especially our ladies, nothing like gender equality in marriage. You can have your gender equality issues in politics, in other fields of life. But when the person that instituted marriage made it clear that the man is the head of the home, that we need to fight or we need to debate, it is clear and it is written. The man is the head of the home. No way you can bring gender equality in marriage. If you want to do that, then that means you are telling God, who created marriage, that he didn't know what he was doing when he was creating marriage. Please look at your husband as the head in one home. There can never be two kings reigning in one kingdom. There must be somebody that is lead, and that person is the head of the home. On the other hand, when we look at it, if we are looking at in terms of relationship, this marriage is us. We are a team, and so we have rights to make it work. Then to me, when you look at it, the aspect of teamwork, if you and I stay in this house and it's dead, even as a man, I equal pick up, rack up and clean the house. I could equally wash the dishes because it is our home. One makes sense. If you're looking at it, okay, it's fine. Marriage is teamwork. It can succeed better if the two come, they put in their efforts to make it work. So the woman has rights to do that will make the marriage work. The man has rights to do things that will make the marriage work. Leadership is one head. There is one leader in marriage. Nothing more, nothing. Should understand they are leaders, and women should respect men.
We're talking about equal rights. Are we not also confused as mere mortals, human beings, because he raised certain things that the Bible actually says, you the man, you will do this, you will do this, the woman, you will do this. Is that not also where the problem is? By us, the beings, and what God originally planned for man.
Mr. Leo, marriage older than church, marriage is older than court, older than customs. We should be able to review legal views. God created man, and he said the man shall have rule. Those who rule are authorities. When we talk about this topic of do men and women have equal rights in marriage, I'm sure we are talking specifically the privileged head and the neck. The man is the head, the woman is the neck. The neck supports the head, and the head directs the neck. It's the head that sees the future, but the neck supports the head to see. Women are a support system to men. They don't see for men. He that sees for you guides you. He that sees ahead leads you. He that sees ahead instructs you. As a matter of fact, he that sees ahead shows the way. So when we talk about women having equal right with men, it doesn't exist. All those things are customary, illegal, and church's philosophy when it comes to marriage. Anything that has two heads is a monster. There is no way two captains can sail the same ship. And this point should be clarified here, because we may leave this platform raising more rebels than wives. Some of these feminists who are looking for the slightest opportunity to sit on the man's head will take the opportunity to, but I will not be the one to give you such an opportunity on this platform. There is a difference between power and authority. We have powerful women. Power has to do with strength, influence, charisma. Authority has to do with the rank. God has never ranked the man and a woman on the same platform. You may be the governor of Southwest Province, that's power. You may be the chief administrator in the whole of Southwest, that's power. Your husband may be a bike rider, that's a rank. He is occupying a rank that you have not attained when it comes to marriage. So you can be a powerful woman, which we have permitted women to be powerful. A woman who is a president is a powerful woman. A woman who is a governor is a powerful woman. But when it comes to authority, authority has nothing to do with power. We have persons in this country who are more powerful than the president, but he occupies an authority that nobody can dare violate what he says. So we are distinguishing here between rank and power. I know of many women who are the ones making provision in their houses because they happen to be the breadwinner. But listen to me. That you are the breadwinner of that house does not make you the authority. You are just powerful to be the one that provides for the family. Let this one sink deep into every woman who is listening to me right now. Now, coming to rights enjoyed, or we'll not call them rights, we'll call them privileges. If we put it right, it's an extra, how do I put it? It's an exaggeration. Privileges. Privileges enjoyed in marriage. The Bible says a man has no right over his body, and a woman to have no right over her body. The word right there is the Greek word privilege. He has no privilege over his body. That is to say, anytime a woman may want to have sex with you, you are obliged to submit that body to her because it is her body. That's what scripture considers. But making decisions and directing the family where it should go, is the man's responsibility, because they cannot be two captains in the same ship. I'm sure this point is clear. Women may enjoy the same privilege with a man in a relationship, but not the same rights.
Okay, I don't know whether Apostle is seeing these things from the same place.
Like Apostle Lambe, I don't see it from the angle of headship issue. I see it as having the same opportunities to live a good friendship life. Your wife can be your friend. Your wife can be your partner. It can be someone you share with. It can be someone that you know, you have access to your bank accounts and everything. You have the privileges to take to be with your children. You have the privileges to spend time with your mother-in-law, and your husband has the privileges to come and spend time.
We are talking about rights. You have the right. Let's say the right to educating the child.
Go to rights. When you talk to rights, they have equal rights.
Okay.
If it is rights you're talking, but if it is authority, it's another thing.
Yeah,
I will still come back there. Yes. Now, in terms of rights, a woman was not taken from the bone of the leg of a man. God decided to take one of the ribs, because in his view to that, man is going to walk side by side with the woman. They are going to walk alongside. No one is going to be too superior or this. That's why it was so easy for woman to carry fruit and come and give her them another meat, even though it brought trouble, as people used to say. But the man saw that my wife give me something to eat, I eat. I'm not scared of anything. You see? So what I see here is, when you deprive a woman, that is why men die early, because you take headship and you want to go even for the area of rights and go and collect it.
Is that not also why they die early? Because women want to play that equal rights position?
No,
especially
women to play as a woman. Why will you deprive a woman from getting a job? And you say that I'm the husband, I decide what you do. That's unreasonable. You tell a woman to sit at home, not having anything to do. Some of these men stopped women from working because they say, I am the head, I'm the man. A woman has the right to get the job. She has the right to, a woman should not be killed because you are not authority. A woman has the right to leave, a right to send the children to school. A woman has the right to pick the children from school. Yeah. Same like the husband.
I don't know whether that is what Apostle Abe was saying.
No, he is talking about authority, but I have differentiated my this is
if I get what things that have to be done.
Yes.
The woman has the right to 5, the man has right to 5.
No, don't make it in numbers.
No, we are talking about equal rights. Yeah.
Okay, equal right to live. Don't kill her. Equal right to take care to. Give her the opportunity. Equal right to get a job just like the man. Those are the rights we are talking about. Don't deprive her from all those things and then you think that she will remain a wonderful woman. Give her that opportunity and she'll come back and become a very wonderful wife for you. Okay? And she will honor you and respect you as the head of the family.
Good evening. An old department has confused between authority and equality. In marriage, the man is the head, one who is able to be instituted. His noble is to submit to the man, just like the in all things. The concept of equality is not God, and this is a result of the human race stopping to look up Jesus Christ to make rules for themselves. Britain is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. A man that looks his wife's money is digging his grave, because she will one day disgrace him. Man is for the family, while a woman's money she helps out with fee, she will one day call you useless. Gideon, writing from Everything said, thank for this very rich program. I wish to find out when a man works and invests in house business and isn't working after some years, yet profits from the business isn't to financial commitments. The woman as well a lot, actually feels money gets not enough for the home and to build the children's future, nagging the man of being lazy. The man says he worked a lot at his youthful years. What should be done to solve this? For its cousin in the home, it's Philip from Esumba. I don't know where Esumba is. Okay, from your what these ideas are correct, but most of these men that are criminals to this point are never to listen to it. They are running out with a second bureau. They never give money for food, but they want to eat nice food. I can't be giving you nice food every day when you can't afford a square in your own home. Okay, glad it's good evening to you. But let's look at this issue of equal rights in the home, the coming of the Beijing conference, lots and lots of talks, the woman celebration of the Women's Day. The man is supposed to start doing what the woman is doing. Why do we have this confusion today?
Mr. Leo, we really have to be very careful the way we handle this particular topic.
Okay.
We have to be careful because some human beings sometimes can really be extremist.
Okay.
Having equal rights, talking about rights at home, good. But the moment we start emphasizing on rights, that is the very birth of rebellion from women nowadays. Because when you begin to plant that ideology of equality in rights in marriage, you're already nursing a seed of rebellion from women. And I can assure you that. Talking about, Apostle just mentioned of, yes, a woman has right to live. Every human being has right to live. Nobody has right to deprive anybody from living. If we want to look at, yes, in marriage we have equal right, let's look at right. It means that when you cheat, I should cheat. It means that when you go drink and get drunk, I should drink and get drunk because we have equal right. It means that when you spend money, run after women and do things that are unscrupulous, I too should do the same. That's not where there is right. Good as to like you said right to live. Yes, we have equal rights to live. We have equal rights to plan and decide for some things in the family, sometimes, somehow. But then if we want to hold on to the aspect of equal right in matrimony, we are going to keep women and will lead women out of good track. Now, it means that if my husband gets up today and tells me that, or I tell my husband that I want to join the military force, that is what I want to do now. And because we have equal right, he should permit me go do it. There are things a man has to regulate in the home. Because he has that authority. There are things a man has to moderate. If at all that understanding, because it is his home. Yes, it is our home. We are married, it's our home. But the man is at the top. And he is at the top, so he's accountable for everything that happens. He is accountable for what happens in that family because he is at the point of authority. So if he allows that authority to be jeopardized upon for the wife because we think we have equal rights, because my wife says so, we must agree. I must accept what she has said because we have equal rights. Then there is no leader in that home, and we are heading to nowhere. We are heading to nowhere. This aspect of equal right because you are human, this equal right thing. It's the very reason why we have feminism coming up. It's the very reason why we are trying to kill this notion of women rising up and saying that because we want right, and they're carrying on their women are taking their political strength, they're taking their financial strength, they want to bring their authority out there in businesses into their homes. You can go cry out for your equal rights at your job site. It's okay. Because if they are paying us for 31 months, for instance, in a workplace, they pay a man 50,000. They should pay, if we have the same category, you're paying 50,000, pay me 50,000. At the workplace, it's accepted. But in marriage, it cannot work. If we start emphasizing on that issue, equalism in right, equality in marriage, we are going to miss it, because lots of women, that is the very reason why a lot of women are misinterpreting it, and they think that because they say we are equal, because it's a big day, my husband has gone to drink, he's coming at 2 a.m. me too, I'll go and drink and come at 2 a.m. my husband is running and he's dating women, running after jumping from one woman to okay, me too, I'll go date, and we start fighting. 2 wrongs can never make a right. And we cannot drag on, we cannot hold on to that aspect of equal rights to make a good marriage. Yes, we are together. It is teamwork. We work together to make the marriage to work. If I am praying for my family as a wife, I expect, or I think my husband should equally join me, or he too should be able to pray so that we succeed. If I'm praying for the children, he too should. He is the head. So a man has his place of authority, which we can never fight it.
Okay.
If we want to take that right thing and hold on to it, soon you will see a lot of marriage will start fighting because they think they have right.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Those who think in marriage women are equal to men are wrong, because God did not create that way. In homes, many women, despite the fact that they are working, still look for their husband as the only breadwinner. Here they know they are not equal to their husbands. Okay. Thomas Matt is writing from Yaoundé. This one says a man must not remind the wife of his authority in marriage. It is not disputable. A woman has rights in the house, but same with the man. We love our wives. They should keep their position. I'm James, writing from Bamenda. I thank God for such women like the one in the studio. I don't know her name. More wisdom. This is clear that her husband is proud of her. Her name is Madame Henrietta Fortinglet. Good evening, Mr. Leo. God created a man first and later created a woman out of the man. So for that reason, they can never have equal rights in marriage. Even if the woman is the breadwinner, she will never have the front position of the bed. Gideon is writing from Bamenda. Good evening. I do think the man and the woman have equal rights, because the Bible says the two become one, meaning we should see our family affairs. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. This is earlier writing from Yaoundé. And says a man decides because he had. Does this mean husband takes decisions without consulting with the wife? Aren't you in the right making the wife want? How look like if decisions are taken to the detriment of the wife? I thought ideas of decision making be discussed and accepted or negotiated. Wow. Yes. Now let's get to Madame Aranji. Again, we get to you, Apostle Ambe. Valentine.
In fact, we are having more positive results in marriages now. A man look at his wife like an equal being her. You know, we're not talking about this in terms of leadership. They're treating each other equally between a child and an elderly person. The other person can be. it is between two mature people. And so equal, treating each other equally has brought real positive results, like it improved intimacy, it has a committee homes. So if there is something that should be called equality marriage, I want to, from the perspective of, let us treat each other, don't treat the other like the employer and she's the employee. You can respect each other equally. You can have respect for each other. You can have love, have equal rights to love each other, equal rights to be, to become the relationship, equal rights to share responsibilities in the relationship. You may now take charge of responsibilities. Sometimes I'm doing counseling, and the woman, let her take charge over some things. She might be paying bills while I'm taking rent. Why so that mature couples down with what them. So if you're talking about a perspective that not only a man should bring, a man should also bring income, it makes sense to me. If we're talking about equality, not only a woman should respect a man, it makes sense to. If we're talking about for leadership, one thing remains.
Very satisfying statement, but they are not correct. Mr. Leo, if we talk of equality in a relationship between man and a woman, them sharing ideas together, which is not wrong. Ideas can be shared, but somebody has to have the final say, the conclusion. We are talking about not having equal right in the place of order. Are you get what I'm saying? A man cannot rebuke a child in the presence of the mother, and the mother, because of equal right over that child, tells the child not to submit to what the father is saying. We have seen homes divided because a man and a woman have equal right over the child. When the man is trying to correct the child to go north, the woman is influencing the child to go east because they have equal right over that child. In every society there must be order. Even if we deliberate on something, there is something called an executive order. Once it is given, the rest have to stay quiet. If you make things too equal to the extent whereby when you deliberate ideas, it is a must that both of you having equal right must land the conclusion, you will discover that we always have divergent views at the end, and it will end at a rancor or in a rancor. Most people sometimes, like women, when you give them that equality, it is not wrong to share ideas. Somebody wrote from behind that, does that mean that decision making is only for the man? I said no. The man is the head, the woman is the neck. That is a support system. The deliberate idea, the one man has the final say. And if a woman has to push her idea forth, she has to put the idea forth as a subordinate. She's not putting the idea forth as a colleague. It is in this place of trying to impose as a colleague where you have fight in different homes. This is where the trouble is. A man says A, and the woman says, no, I do not think that way. And the man says, no, the woman says, no, you are not the only one to decide here. This is where we have a trouble. We have a serious trouble when there is no order in a relationship. When a woman believes that ideas must be shared together and both of them must come on an agreement. If both of you don't land on an agreement, who has the final say? That's equality we are talking about. The children are to go to St. Mary's Primary School. No. I think they will go to St. John's Primary School. No. We drag and drag and drag and drag and drag and drag and drag. At the end of the day, the woman insists that the children must go to St. John Primary School. That is equality you people are talking about. And the woman is trying to push forth her plan. At the end of it, you say, you are the husband. Whatever you decide here is the final say. That should be registered in the mind of every woman, that when ideas end at a place where both parties cannot come to a consensus, the man has a final stamp. This is where we have a syrup. That's where order comes in. Talking about rights in marriage and privileges in marriage and every other thing, there are homes where sometimes the man carries every responsibility financially. But when it comes to make decision, the woman is the one that wants to make decision. So the man is an authority in expenditure, and the woman is an authority in talking. We should differentiate these things and make it very clear that people who are listening to us to understand. Nobody is saying that marriage is a relationship between a slave and a master, or an employer or an employee. No, the scripture says honoring one another. You honoring one another, but there is a degree of honor. Everybody has a degree of honor. My wife has a degree of honor in my home. My honor is supposed to be that higher than my wife. In other words, when I say something, I might not even be correct. She will say, what your father has said is correct. Let us go in the room and she tells me that, honey, what you did was not correct. Not that because we have equal right over the children, we are now bantering words on whose words the children should hear. That's the reason you see in most homes, some children grow up attached to their mother, some grow up attached to their father, because it looks like, publicly speaking, the father showed more love to the children and the mother was not in support of it. Tomorrow a child gets and say, my father was not kind to us, he constantly flogged us. My wife beats my children, I don't beat them. But you see, when they beat a child and the child comes to me and say, go back to your mother, that is to say, I'm giving the children, giving their mother flavor for the children. But when I get to the room, I tell my wife, what you did wasn't correct. If this idea, I don't have that maturity, I want to react as a man and say, don't beat those children too also. These two persons have conflicting views because they have equal rights. The man has over the children, the woman has over the children. So when we talk about this right here, we are talking about not just in the area of who spends or who doesn't spend or who does this. We are talking about who has the final say when we conclude on decisions. That what we learn on things that we cannot conclude. Who has the final say? It is a right for us to sit down and discuss. We are going to be 50,000. No, let us save 25,000. It always happens like that. Dr. Moakai said for 25 years he has been in a relationship. Him and his wife has agreed something only twice. You people be sincere. Let us know. Husband and wife never agree on anything. They never. Let's be sincere here. They don't agree on anything. A man has his own way of thinking. A woman has her own way of thinking. And once they discuss until they come at the end, the woman will want her own to stand. That equality. Where is the equality there? For 25 years, a man has agreed with his wife twice. That's it. A man can be the one who is giving. The woman can be the stingy one. And somebody comes in the house and says they should give money. The man has his giving attitude, he wants to give. The woman has a stingy attitude, he wants to save. And then they drag, they say equality. I'm talking here because this money is all our money. And both of you will have problems continuously. Let the woman that once two of you discuss on something, if her own idea has to go through, let her submit it. Not that she's trying to impose it, because it's not two colleagues discussing. It's an authority and a subordinate.
Good evening to everyone in the studio. I just want to say that no matter how God forgives you, the guilt of your sin will always be there. Every sin has a consequence, so we should be very careful with what we do. Thanks. Blessing is writing from Amanda. Shall we continue sinning for grace to abide? Will a man continue to break girls' heart to God forgiveness? Tim is writing from Amanda. The girls are on rampage here. Good evening, Mr. Lewis. Some men are really selfish. I'm a wife who don't joke with food because my husband loves food. Just today I have been busy trying to get identification documents and couldn't make food on time. I entered the house, he just ignored me. Am I a house help or a wife that my husband would not understand? Only this today. Apostle Ambe, please help me. Cynthia is writing from Boya.
Cynthia, you have been a good woman. Did you tell your husband we were going for ID card today? The problem could be in communication and nothing else.
Maybe she said so.
If she said so, then the man has to consider the wife.
Okay.
She's not a slave, she's a wife.
Okay. What the woman in the studio is saying is perfectly true, and vice versa to the woman too. The law of Kamer is real. Is here the writing from Boya. Good evening, Mr. Leo. God bless you all in the studio for this wonderful program. Mirabel is writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Pastor Ambe. Very interesting topic. In the African context, there is no equality between a man and a woman because our in society, the man is regarded as the breadwinner of the family, so there is no equal rights in marriage. Good evening. I salute the man of God's analysis of rank and power. Right. Thanks. Bonaventure is writing from Bonaberry. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I like your job. Thank you very much. Good evening to you all in the studio. A man and a woman can never have equal rights in marriage because they are well different from different purposes. From Tirune in Boya. Good evening. Brandon writing from Boya. I think they should walk hand in gloves, but the man remains the head of the family. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's not everything that you can set for debate. This can set confusion in the marriage. A man remains a man. Remains a man. Edwin is writing from Douala. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Liu. Please just permit me. I as a woman, I want to chip into this. Our sister in Bamenda who just laid a complaint about her husband not understanding her because she did not make food. Yes, every woman know the kind of man you have. Understand your husband. Make your program. It's true that so many times will come, we might be too tired. We might not be able to do or to cook at the time that we are supposed to cook. But if you have a husband who really understands, whose attention is not so much into food, or who you know his program, knowing that he will obviously be home well ahead of time, or you think that if he comes and does not meet food, he is going to be angry. The process of making, I think his ID card in Cameroon is not an easy one. If you decide to go there and you know that your husband is the one, he doesn't meet food, he will get angry with you. My sister, I'll advise you, just program yourself right. You could decide to cook the previous day and keep in the fridge. You could want to get up very early in the morning, as early as 4 a.m. You prepare food and keep, and then you go out. You know by the time you come, I don't have you any stress. So if you do not understand that your husband is that kind who will not understand that you didn't cook, please just save the stress by rearranging your program. You could really make your program suitable and do everything and avoid the quarrels you will have with your husband.
Okay, good evening. It's Marilyn writing from Bengui. I just wish to know if a man has a final say at the detriment of the family. Should we just agree? Because the man has the final say. I'm not sure that's what Apostle said. Apostle Lambe, I'm happy you're looking refreshed, showing my sis is taking full care. Lady Evelyn is writing from Douala. Greetings to you. Today it's my first time to disagree with Apostle Ambe. Do not transfer men's responsibilities on women. Remember, women are mere helpers, that you know. Let men stop taking care of concubines. But come back home and take full responsibility of what? I don't know, I'm sure Lady Evelyn is talking about the first topic. One part told me that until you get a good wife before you know that you are lucky. Okay? A man cannot maltreat his wife and children when he's younger because he's strong and blessed financially and expect to be treated fair in your old age. At 50, that same wife of yours will give you a pay package of all what you did to her in your 30s. Treat your wives well to live longer, else they will maltreat you at your retirement. Agbo Tambe Ferino, writing from Danny Cash in Kumba. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to everyone in the house. Mr. Liu, give more time to the lady to speak more. Greetings to Apostle Ambe. Is Mbaku Valerie writing from Bonaberry. She's been talking, huh? If men want to live long and enjoy their marriage, they should not fake or lie about themselves just because they want to get married to a particular woman. The truth will always come out and they will harvest the fruits of their lives. Yes, the equal rights. Who should determine who has equal rights? Is it the Bible? Is it the tradition, the customs of the people? Is it the state you were quoting about, or the couples themselves should decide what rights they should have?
Yeah, Mr. Leo, we cannot live in a society where the government, constitution, and everything have put in place that the woman has equal rights and we are trying to preach to people that they don't have equal right. It's a wrong thing. It's a wrong idea. Because if the government says they have equal right, and everyone is now trying to understand that fact, that in case of divorce, because from the day you get married in the court, they give the woman a marriage certificate and they give the man another one. It means that in case of anything, they both has the right to file a case to the court against the man or against the wife. That's what right is all about. Now, when we are talking about these academic issues, we are putting it on context and in the concept of it. We put it in that point. Because when we try to put it in the cultural context, it's going to affect us so terribly. Now, the state holds that. Just imagine if the government comes to do, maybe judges and other people are listening to us talk now, and then they begin to say the pastors are saying that the people should not obey the orders of the court, or maybe the institutions that have been put in place to say that man and woman, they have equal rights.
I'm not sure anybody said that on this platform.
No, we are trying to postulate that they don't have equal right. That's what I've been postulating here, that they don't have equal right. And I think that in my concept and how I hold things, man, because if I do anything terrible to my wife today, she has the right to file a divorce against me. She has the right to go to court against me. She has the right. I cannot come up today and then kill my child, and I begin to, my wife will sit down and say, it's the head, he has decided what to do. She will file a case against me, and it's going to work against me. Now, what we are trying to put up is, while we are trying to fix something, or while we are trying to, correct the few people or the many people that have spoiled something, we should not also go to extent where we begin to damage some other things. We cannot damage the issues that the government hold in high esteem, that a woman has equal rights. Okay, like when you go to America and all the Western world today, you cannot say this thing you are saying. And that's why our brothers, when they go there, they are very humble to the women, because the women there, they don't only have equal rights, the women have authority more than the men.
So you admire what happens out there?
No, I don't admire it. I don't admire it. But we hold that they have equal rights. And let me tell you something, my brother. If we become friends to our wives and husbands, let me tell you, marriage will become a wonderful thing. I'm talking this from personal experience. From personal experience. As a pastor, I don't see you making your wife to be a subordinate or some kind of things. No, when you are in church, okay, that's fine. The pastor is the head of the church, so he can lead on this. But when it comes to relating as a husband and wife, they should relate as friends. And that's how I have been relating to my wife for all these years. And marriage has been so wonderful when it comes to that, relating. Now, we bring something to the table and we discuss. In the morning after prayers, we bring our discussions, because she has to go to work, because we get up very early and go for prayers, and after that we begin to discuss some issues, and then sometimes while driving to work, we are discussing some issues. We come to an agreement on this. Okay, if there's something that we still have a loggerheads about it, we keep it down. We wait until maybe after that, this one has gone and thought about it, this other one has gone and thought about it, then we come and say, but when I went, I thought this thing, it will not work. Don't you think that we should do it this way? And that's how we've been working.
Yeah, but talk about, I don't know whether what you are saying actually refutes the fact that you guys have equal rights.
No, we have equal rights.
Yeah, but
my wife has a marriage certificate. I also have my own, which gives us the right to be citizens of the country, so
if somebody has to represent the family in certain situations, the wife could as well represent.
My wife can represent
as you can represent.
I can represent. So if something goes me down,
the whole you people are
not the same issue. There's no, don't use the same. They have rights.
Okay, the rights are
the
same.
No, we don't want to put same. We say they have rights.
No, the topic is equal.
Now, when you say equal right, we are trying to put it on the platform of, okay, can this one do this? Yes, he can do it. Can this other one do it? They can do it. That's what we call about equal. This one is possessing a marriage certificate. I am also possessing a marriage certificate, carrying the same signatures from the same layers and the same things, which gives us equal right to face the government for anything. If I offend the government today, my wife can, or I offend those marriage certificates, my wife can sue me.
That's the government. Is that how God sees?
Now, when it comes to God, God said the two have become one. Okay. When people are now one, there is nothing for equal or this thing or this thing.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Mother Fatima.
Mr. Leo.
He sees it from the everybody has a right there. The woman has a right, the man has a right.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Leo, there are basic human rights. which nobody has the right to deny anybody from, and we don't deny it. We are talking about the institution of marriage. Yes, in any marriage where there is no friendship, it is a war zone. It's not marriage. People live in agony, fear. We have to create that atmosphere of friendship, that you can be very happy around your husband. You discuss things, you discuss some issues, come to a compromise, execute them. Nobody is saying here that a woman should be a slave to a man in holy matrimony. No. You have to be your husband's friend. A husband, your wife is your friend. But you know what? Excuse me, Apostle. You know what? I am a very good friend to my husband. He respects me very well, as much as I respect him. We discuss things I understand, but I know my limits. As a woman, I know my limits. Madame Asanji said something, that when you give woman, I know women, I know us women, I'm talking as a woman. Are you understanding? He said when you give a woman a sperm, he gives you a child, we are multiplier. There are certain rights if you give a woman, she takes for granted. I'm sorry to say that. That if you allow some level of freedom to a woman, if you are not careful, she abuses. There are, in most cases, that's my point of view, Apostle. Yes, we are in a debate. That's my point of view. I am not saying that a woman is a slave to her husband. Far from that. But see, recently during these holidays, I already prepared everything. I was preparing. I know that normally my kids will go for holiday classes. I was preparing things. I know some of those things my husband will not really have time for. So I was making all necessary arrangements. And when it was time for them to start, I had to speak with my husband. I said, okay, but you know that it's about time. They shouldn't have to start holiday classes. And I've already started preparing this and that. He told me no. Surprisingly, he said, no, my kids are not going for holiday classes this time around. I sank within me. I was like, and the way he said it, I said, okay, why? He said, I've said they are not going for the classes because he gave me a number of reasons, and I swallowed it. And it was a little bit bitter for me to take it, but I had to understand he's a man, he's taking his decision. They are his children. I will not start fighting with him that my children must, because I'm working, I can pay. Because normally when it comes to those holiday classes, some of those classes, some of those things, my husband does not come there, I pay them. I don't take care of them financially. So it's not because I pay. I already saw the driver. I pay the driver, I pay everything. But it's not because I can pay that I will go against his decision that he has taken. They are our children, but he is the head of the home. Nobody is a slave. There are basic human rights that we must understand. That you must treat everybody the right way. That way we understand. You must create friendship. You must create that love, togetherness, and all of that in your relationship. Okay. You must have an amicable atmosphere. But then it remains that the husband is the head of the home.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and the panelists. I admire the brilliant points submitted herein by our beautiful ladies on board. I salute Apostle and as well. A man and a woman can never have equal rights in marriage. If it's in sharing properties, it's accepted. The man is the head, and that is not disputable. Kudos and more grace. Good evening, Mr. Kum and Mr. Njuma from Mile 4, Limbe. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Good evening to you all in the studio. Mr. Liu, your panel is made up of some of the very rich brains in this country. Greetings to Apostle Ambi and the lady in the studio. Blessed evening, Mr. Leonard and the wise panelists. Your program is teachable, and cautious giving of oneself to alcoholic consumption, to sex with anyone outside marriage, and etc. are never right at all. My love to your prudent panelists, a special one to Apostle Ambi, my beloved brother Reverend Caleb Akpan, writing from Limbe. Greetings in the house. Please, what if of a case where you get married to a man that doesn't know his left from right? Will you still consider that man to have the final say, or be the head? Nangunda is writing from Bonaberi. This one says, men and women have equal rights in marriage, and these rights are mutually inclusive, but in function as husband and wife, their rights are not equal. I think the problem of equality in marriage results from lack of mutual understanding and respect. Chirune, writing from Cité Verte in Yaoundé, they are concluding statements.
I'm sure if we understand effectively the woman's role given by God in marriage, we will not preach this equality in marriage. The woman has a responsibility to submit. Submission is not when you obey at your convenience. It's when you obey as you are commanded. You don't obey at your convenience. Submission is not obedience to your convenience. Many people think that submission is when you obey when you are convenient. Look at what she just said. Her desire was that the children should go to school. Refuse. That's obedience against her convenience. That's what called submission. The Bible didn't ask a woman to obey in a relationship. The Bible asks a woman to submit to a relationship. I think we are unable to differentiate these two words, obedience and submission. Submission means you go under. If you did mathematics, it means subset, subordinate, subdivisional, subdelegate, sub. I mean, say sub. Sub means say go under. This is the meaning of what? Sub. I say sub, S-U-B, subdivisional officer. It means there's a divisional officer. Subdelegate, submission, subset of the set. In arithmetic, there is something called subsets of the. God says submit. Submission means I might not delegate is doing, but I am what? The subdivisional delegate. My authority is not strong enough to stop what the authority up there is doing. If I have to give the authority an idea, I should take it as a sub. Please let us know what is this sub. If God who created marriage and is older than church, older than court, older than customs, tell us that women should sub. Let me say, women should you sub the thing. You cannot be on the same when you are a sub. You cannot be on the same lanes. You are squaring shoulders. But when you are sub, it means that this chair is sub. I'm sitting on this chair. So God acts under. Let the man be up. You cannot have equal rights. Equal means me and you were squaring shoulders. And if you square shoulders, you are equal to me. That's not what we're talking here. God asked the woman to sub. I know it fight me. I'm not preaching at your convenience, but I'm teaching you what makes marriage work in every part of the world. If a woman does not take this responsibility to be that sub, how do I, Mr. Lowe, you know, I mean, say, sub. Apostle Afro, what is sub? Is this not sub? That's my conclusion. If we understand this sub, that will help us.
Good evening to you all, Mr. is say in marriage. Magdalene, yes, watching from Kumba.
She has much to say.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and everyone in the house. Please, I wish for equality and equity. The woman has her place as woman. Leave thing to say. It's because a woman would never be a man. A man never ever, I repeat, never ever have equal rights. Emmanuel is writing from Boya. Hello, Mr. Liu. Talking about rights without duties with much rights. The next, for example, a smoker has the right to smoke. But it is his duty not to hurt a non-smoker. You're writing from Yaoundé. Tiku Felix from Boya. No. Says, hi, Mr. Leo. I don't know what women nowadays see in this measuring the men. Well, I have the responsibility to submit. It is man that God strives to submit, and the man of quick. Good evening to you, Tiku Felix. Leo, we talk. Boni is writing from Boya. This one says there is no equality in marriage, be it right or other things. The man is the pivot and the center of marital relationship when it comes to the notion of authority. Equality has no place. Elvis is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you in the studio. I love this topic. Atem is writing from Combone Mission. Yes, concluding.
All right, it's a very wonderful topic we have been talking today, and next time when we are talking about submission, I will come back to talk on the place of the woman in submission and the place of the man. But today we are talking about equal rights, and I said the woman has equal right with the man based on certain issues that has to do with our states, and has to do with their living. So always catch up with us every Tuesday 7 p.m.
Okay, we have to end here. Thank you, apostles, for coming, and also thank you to you, Madam Asanji, who took part from Bamenda, and to you, Madam Fortingle. Thank you. We want to thank the production team, and a special greetings to you out there in Boya, to Professor Ngange Kingsley, who is the head of department of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Boya. Special greetings to you and Madam, and we have to only say stay blessed. Bye-bye.